So what do you want to do? Talk about ugly? They had a question on Facebook about ugly. And ugly to me goes like this, okay? If yellow sees red, yellow doesn't know red, so it's ugly. But when they get together, she sees that red inside of her glows like the orange sun. So unless you try the ugly, how will you know about the ugly, whether they're good, the ugly, or the bad? And that was a Clint Eastwood movie. You see, when you see things ugly, you pause, you think. It stops your mind, it puts it in another pattern in your head, it opens up a new wave, and your eyes, okay, are now making the decision. Your hands are not creating, okay, your ears aren't seeing, okay, they can't see the ugly, but your eyes can. So now you make the decision. Your X-Man sees the ugly and says it's okay, but it's no good, because ugly doesn't go. Ugly equals a black wire, no, let's say a white wire, no. Two wires of some color that come out to a color that really doesn't distinguish any of the two. Basically, if you look at black cherry, okay, the black is sort of ugly, the red is like blood, but when you put it together, the black cherry is like a shining armor. Just got to light this up. So now the ugly guy looks at you, and he says, oh my God, what does he say? Does he know he's ugly? Does he even know if you're beautiful? What does he know in his mind? You see, because in his mind is the center of the universe, and all he's going to care about is what he thinks, because that's his mind. So that's his center of the universe, which will connect to the other ones. If he don't give a hoot if he's ugly or not, well, maybe he's got an advantage, because every ugly person he sees, he doesn't think anything of. But every person you think, all you think about whether they look good or not. So we lose downtown, turning our head left to right. What did he say? What did she look like? Downtown, you're always doing down to win. Doing it down to win. Doing down, do, in, and down. All you have to do is put the I in the middle of the W and the N. And you have down. Now you have town, which is T-O-W-N, or put another I in between the W and N, you got win. You see, W and N is the creation by Beta, which is the machine. She's a black machine. She's run with the blue energy they call electric, and a yellow energy in which I'm thinking is fat or something. Because what I just did before is I took one piece of paper, like this, with coloring on one side, and I held it over the top of my other paper, and my paper turned yellow. And your paper turns yellow. So yellow is created from something else. Somehow, some way, God is supposed to be purity, and on horse 2 is white. Beta is supposed to be blue, and horse 3 is blue. In pool, horse 2 is blue, horse 1 is yellow, and it's supposed to represent the power of this universe, which would be God's yellow. But like I said, God's a ghost, and the white fat, after it starts to heat, it starts to turn a little yellow. The fat, okay, is not connected to the meat in all actuality. It's connected to some sort of a plasticky spider web. When you pull out your fat, take a look at it. But when you look at the, hold on a second. Here, what's up? So you see, I cooked this meat, okay, and look what happened. This is no longer a white fat. It went in as a white fat, okay, but the oils inside of it turned it a different color from inside out. So I'm assuming yellow came from inside out. Well, obviously, I think everything comes from inside out. That's why we take all our food, we put it into a mixer until it's the same thing, until it's inside out. And then there's a nylon. You see this? Goes right back up. But now look, I can't actually push it anymore. I can't go anymore in this fat. So if you are fat, fat gets a little hard, and you can't push it. because the bubbles inside, okay, if they can't move these bubbles, depending on what side, you see the woman can move because her bubbles are bigger. Okay, certain fat bubbles are bigger and smaller inside our skin. Okay, and that's one of the reasons the way they move the women, because of this element. This, I can't actually bend this back, but if it was a woman, it would bend back like nothing. See, it stays right there. One of the reasons they make sushi that way, okay, is you can see in the lines of the fish what the fish can actually do. So when they go to cut it, if they don't cut it the right way, okay, you're not getting all the lines, and all the lines have that taste. If you start crossing lines when you eat, you change the taste, you change the texture. Okay, so when God made everything, that's basically what he did. But I'm not sure if some of the people even know they're ugly. I've seen a lot of handicapped people, and they're, you know, and are they ugly? You see, when I see those ugly people, I'm ready to cry. I'm ready to cry, not just because it has nothing to do with they're ugly. It has to do with how are they getting along in life. Okay? Because sometimes when you are mentally handicapped, if you don't have the proper people boosting you up, it's very, very hard because you are in a different situation. You're handicap, okay? It's a handicap. Andy Man, he was a little kooky. You remember Andy Candy, or whatever his name is? He was a little kooky because of his hat. He was ugly, but he wasn't ugly. It's just a metaphor the way they did him. Andy Man, let me light this up one more time. It keeps going out. For all those who think it's a joint, it's not a joint. This is a cigarette. You know how I can prove that? By finding this next item. I don't know what it's in English. It's a caution color. So what would you do with caution if you saw something like this? This is what you put a pigtail into. It means you're putting a 2 into a 1. So when you create beta, God needs to create. You see, the 4 corners of God are actually all 1s. Okay, like the 4 aces. But when he needs to create, he has to re-identify each one so he'll know the difference of which corner. Don't forget, in space, everything keeps turning around and around and around. So if he keeps putting 1 in each corner, just saying we know it's God, he'll never be able to explain himself. So he says God 1 angel, God 3 angel, God 7 angel, God 9 angel. The angel of love is the 5. It's in the middle. Okay, God goes in the middle. Okay. God goes in the middle. He makes one of these. Okay, because 1 was creation and 3 was creation. 3 minus 1 is 2. They put it between them. So God, okay, is right here, but beta is the inside circle. She's the machine that goes through this hoop. And this hoop, okay, one of the things for this hoop, because God made everything in more dimensions, what he did with the hoop is he does this with the hoop. You see the upper side? And then you got the lower side. So beta fits in here. So I'm going to put on 2 wings. We're going to put on, how can I draw these 2 wings? Oh boy, this is very hard. Okay, I'm just going to draw it like this. I'm going to make it a little bit easier. I'm going to do it one step at a time. I wish I had a projector or something to show you. I'm getting a new computer. So now you saw it. You got this. E-O-E. Okay, this is the light of God. So you would have electric light orchestra, basically. So you have these, okay, once this O turns, the line that goes across, okay, and why the lines are there, when the line shows up in base, because she's protecting, okay, the balance, because these lines won't fall any further. You see they're straight on the line, and if you can't, you can turn the book, but if that was a wheel, it wouldn't fall because those 6 lines hold it up, okay? Those 6 lines hold it up. So when we say man is 6, it's because without those 3 lines, man is missing a leg to stand on. Okay? Because I'm going to show you another one. Okay? And I'm going to do this a little bit different. And you see, on the bottom of beta, she stands like that. 1 foot on the left, 1 foot on the right. Okay, because you don't see the vision of this, okay, this is 7, 9. This is 8. It's a point. What happens in this point, okay, is I'm going to have to extend my drawing because I didn't do it properly. And then we're going to have to, how can I do this? I'll do it like this, like this, like this, like this, and like this. Then in between beta, okay, she now looks like she's holding 2 blocks and her arms are there. Okay, what I'm building is I'm building her stand. Okay? So this is beta's stand. See, it looks like a man now because beta fits into a hole. Okay? And then she sits on a stick. Okay? The wiring's plugged into all these machines and all the manufacturing sperm of God. Sperm, okay, like I said before, does it rot? Does sperm rot? Okay, that's the question. Does sperm rot? Because if it does, it may rot inside of you. Is that possible with the wrong viruses or something? Anyways, what I was getting to this in all actuality is beta is the center of the donut. God is the circle all around. And if I can find my lighter, how did God make a hole? God had a very hard time making a hole in space with all the wind and the power. So, you see a paper. God didn't have any instruments to work, so he wasn't sure how to work. So, what we're going to do now is try and find out if God can work. You see the story? What was yellow paper? So back in history and in time when things were happening, right? You see the light that's still on it? Well, when Einstein saw the Big Bang, okay, that was the shimmering light, still burning up on the outsides. The Big Bang opened space in order for God to come in and install his operation. You see, because God has to stop. It's continuously moving his world all the time. Okay, we come into a wall, it stretches out a little bit, we turn around, we fold in. You know, if you have plastic or something, or rubber, you can fold it in and twist it, you can make a room out of it. Well, that's what happens at the end of the universe. When the girls at the strip clubs go dancing, okay, and they go into the little cabanas, right, it's like, it's not outside, it's inside of the world, but they just made a piece of wood turned around like an L shape, so they can go in there and dance for the guys. So when you get to the end of the universe, I'm figuring the same thing. First of all, there's got to be some sort of piping system that goes all around. The same way when you're building a house, you put your drains that go under the ground. It goes all around the house. Well, we have the same thing. Somewhere on the extremity of the universe, there's a passage. And the reason for the passage is very simple. It's very simple. Do I have a pen? Do I have a paper? Let's see. What was that, the cards? Come on, cards. Where's my cards? I like to work with the heart. No, I like to work with the diamond, actually, because the diamond, right, is the only way to get to the back door. And if you don't have anything to get to the back door, I'm not sure which. I got the 9 of diamonds, which is good. First, I'm going to show you the 1 of diamonds. If you need a coffee, a Coke, you want something, go ahead, I'm buying. Did you listen to the words I said? It was naturally said, go ahead, I'm buying. Like nothing. You see, love is actually there. We want to do it. Go ahead, I'm buying. The other guy feels good. I feel good just by saying it. And people say it that way for no reason at all, because it's in us to be good. We're programmed to be good. God knows. He gave us the 10 commandments, okay, because he knew what the soul was all about. And why are we God's children? We're all orphans. God never had us before. Not because there weren't any people before us, because there were billions of people. But I'm an I. I have my own individualized number, 728-604-1063-6. Then you have to go ... 10. .com. Every time you go a dot, it means your .com, your dot of communication, your dot of creation of the O. The O, like I said, is right there, the O. But what happens to the O, right? You got to watch out which C you go into. Okay, you got to be careful with the C and what happens. And now what happens is this. Now you got the red C, because if you take a good look, okay, what actually happens? You have the red C. Now I did a whole thing on this. If you look carefully, he's above, okay, it's a beaver. Okay, below is his home. Where he is just above the water level. The round part over here is the mound. Like the mound chocolates, or like the baseball mound, because that's the center of all the distribution of action, okay? But there are other people, okay, just like in the universe, the center always changes points, because if the ball in the sky is coming down in the field, in left field, well, if you don't go to right field, you don't catch it. See, why would I say that? Because God's always on an angle. Somehow I'd like to know if things fall down. You don't forget, in this world, the gravitational pull pulls all the elements of vision and everything else to come straight down. When you take off your glasses, okay, take a look at something. You're always going to be looking a little crooked, but it's that crookedness that'll help you to see a little bit deeper. And one of the reasons for that is the will to want, and you took off your glasses. Your first expression was, I want. You told the element of spirit inside you unconsciously that you want. So right away it went up and it did something for you. Instead of you having to wait and think, I'm not sure, it's already working. So that I want in the wait period is encouraging, because you get little bits of information a little bit at a time. Well, how much do you want to get? Check your blood pressure. Okay, it's the difference of the blood pressure, okay, in between, that's pushing to bring that message. So there's a ball here in your blood pressure, right? And there's sort of like a ball here, or does it turn with an air outlet and advances and it pushes that energy, and your blood passes your heart, and your heart sends up the blood to your brain, because the heart divides the blood. And then it sends because your brain needs certain ingredients and your nuts need certain ingredients. So it's changed by the brain. It takes what it needs, okay, and then the pancreas and the liver and the whole other stuff underneath there do their thing. And let's go out for chicken and ribs tonight, because I got 2 feet, okay, and my ribs is my chest. Without that, I'd have no chest, and one of my instruments wouldn't be able to work. My lungs would be squished. My body would fall all over my liver. I'd have purple liver for supper. But do you understand the color of liver? It's because of this. It's like a it's not a brown, you know, and brown is sort of close to that purplish kind of color. So our colors have a mix, I think, because of the electronic universe, okay? Even in the rainbows, okay? The mist, if you want to go and talk about the white, well, the Holy Ghost is the white, because I think it's the white that brings clarity into the lighter colors. What else are you going to mix there that's neutral? Is there anything else? And the white paper, fades and turns yellow. So white becomes yellow, that means it is yellow. So when you say we're using the one Spirit of God red, and the one Spirit of Beta Soul is yellow for this earth. So is creation yellow? The Holy Ghost is white, because when it comes down to here and it cooks in man's body, it becomes yellow. So in full creation, the one is yellow. And that means the center, the extensions of our universe is the 1 Mercury and the 9 Pluto, because in full they're both yellow. So now I have to bring them into other games to really understand the letters. If I understand if it's a me against you game, if there's a dealer game involved between us, then there's a big VIG, life I God. The life I God, I equals, guess what this is? Oh my God. The life I God. Terrible. You don't know what this means. Oh my God, this is insane. Life I God. Money. Because in the U.S., they say it's green and it's basic and they're 100 times bigger than us. So they say it's money. In Canada, it's a rainbow because we have all the colors. And the red passage, okay, of God means that the Spirit is a connection up here. And why are we a connection up here in Quebec? Because we're closer to the North Pole. We're one of the last big cities before you get to the North Pole. There are others, but most of them are in Canada or in, is it Russia? But all these people who are around it, okay, they have a different energy flow than anybody else in the world. We all have a different energy flow. Although God made it even by turning the earth both ways, don't forget the only thing that's missing, again another number in pi, is pi itself. You cover 3/4 of the world, but then again it's in water. So you have 1/4 of the world to look after, and God pushed together all the islands. So therefore He will be able to control and distribute the right energies. So He made everything opposite of each other. He made one completely opposite of 9. So therefore, one is on the bottom getting an energy, and the other one's getting the other energy at the top. So when it touches the bottom, when it touchdowns down, it touch-ups ups, and it rotates. One of the easy cards to do, I have a lot of stuff, you know, I have a lot of stuff. I'm not going to do this yet. Let me go back to something I did a little bit before. Just a little picture I drew. I drew this little picture here. See the way it spins? This is basically the way matrix works. They cross by everybody. You know, I made about 25 of them. Anyways, we'll put that on the floor for now. T-bone steak. One of the reasons for the T-bone steak, well, everything I say everybody already knows. So, T-bone steak. Just want to be able to show you. Everybody knows that there's tendons, right? And those tendons are tight, tight, tight. So wiring. It wires the meat. That's the way the meat grows. The meat grows from the fat of the land, and the expression is the same thing. So if you check out, you know, you don't have to do it for me, but if you want to believe in me at all, check out everything I talk about. Everything, everything, everything. Because, look it up. I get some of my information from outer space. This round, can you see this round there? Well, what happens is this is beta's center. I'm only showing you this, the end. So I put the end in here, okay? And this is what they call a T transfer. Okay, it's automatic that this T, right, turns this bone down. Now while this bone's down, this one's across and this one's across. So now you have 4, 5 position, neutralization position, and 6. And at the same time, here, she's got wires connected to here. That's why she's not turning. This turns around her, the wires. Okay? And then what happens, okay, is, see this turn, you're going to the next level. So the other one underneath would be like this. Okay? But like in a car, there's a clutch. Because sometimes the one on the top has to move and the one on the bottom doesn't move. Okay, so what happens is, let me see if I can get a card. Give me a good card. What happens is, if I can design this properly, is when this turns around this, okay, or this turns around this, you see, this can turn or this can turn. Okay, when it's in here, it's like a clutch. It's not touching anything, it's turning, but it's working for the gear up there and the gear down there. Okay, you want to, depending on how you want to go, we're going to go straight across. We're going to, let's see if you can keep up to me. You see, I know the videos are long, but a lot of stuff I'm just taking off the top of my head. And you see so far? Good. Now what has to happen, okay, is we have to find a center corner. So the only way to find a center corner is to reach to here and to reach to here. Now we found the 7 corners, and you have the hourglass. Okay? The corner cards, top and bottom, they're both God's Spirit. Each corner has a value of 5 and 1, because it's the God 1 Spirit that fits in the center position 5. Okay? Now the 9 card will be a different explanation. Okay, but man's life runs this way. And that's a sign basically for when you add the beta lines up. Okay, now you can cross the line. All the lines are stable, you're connected on all sides. So what happens next? Beta extends out, and this box becomes full, and oh, I forgot to do this one. This is what the 5 card looks like. Okay, this is a wiring system. Okay, the top are wired. If you see, it's different because it's the head of God. The 2 arms go into the center. Okay, you don't see the arms. You see the arms coming out from the cheeks. Well, because they're not Beta's arms. They're God's arms. Okay, or they're man's arms. The one on the bottom are the feet of man, or it's the standing stool. So what happens? Everything needs a stabilizer bar. So what we do is we drag one stabilizer bar from here, and we put this on here. Does it go here? It's hard to write on these cards, eh? So on the bottom, we have a stabilizer bar right there. So that bar would represent where our knees would be, because our legs would finish off basically. Whoops, sorry. Our legs are down there, so we have our knees and our elbows. Just by making the design and connecting the wires, where that circle is your elbow. So your knees and your elbow are all made out of the 5 card. And the positioning of the rest of the matrix comes in the 7, actually 6, because the 6 is not in here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're a group. 6 and 7, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 27, 37, total of 40. So when everything starts on the cards, it starts by the 6, and from 6 to 10 is a total of 40, or not counting the rotation, it's a total of 30. I take out the 10 card because the 10 is an actually count of the one God and all his 9 expressions. So that would be 40, but it could be 30. Okay, depending on what you're looking for as an answer. But I'll give you the 2 answers. Yeah, so this card, okay, is the 5 card. And it tells you the whole story, basically. There's more wiring connections, but I didn't buy a black. And if I did buy a black, I don't know where it is. It must be a blackout, something like that. I wanted to show you a design. I don't know if you can see it. This is just a fast sketch I put together about a year ago. Okay? The 2 houses of God at the top, the 2 houses of God on the bottom. The female beta God is in the center, and the red hearts is man. It's the red spirit in and the red spirit of man. Unless you want to put it like this. Okay? And the joker's right here. One of the jokers. Because it's amazing. And this creates a B, and one of them creates really an egg if you do it right. It's the Magen David. Okay? It connects everything together. Here's a U. Here's a box. Okay, you look at this, there's a ring right here. How and what did I design? Basically designed what I thought is the heart. I woke up in the middle of the night, I had a revelation, oh my God, what is this? I don't know. And that's basically your heart and the matrix and the planets and the sports and the music and the TV shows, Hollywood, names, cities, all of it. It's all connected somehow. And I wrote down a few things here. Uranium means your ass. Uranus, uranium. I'm telling you these things to get them out of the way. Lord Medusa. Lord means Queen, Angle, God. Why? Lord. The letter count is 12, 27, 37, 45, 49. Okay, which means the 5 islands, which each have 9 lives. They cover the 4 corners of God. And then it's man's islands, and they don't have 9 anymore. Okay, they only have 9 inside of them. Beta has the 9, but in all actuality, man is 4. 1 turn, 2 turns, 3 turns, 4 turns. What do I get? 4 turns, you get 16, because each side had a turn. You turned one side, it turned 4, 3. Oh, you turned one side, 3 sides turned. So you got 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4 years is a leap year. Is it that simple? Is it that stupid, the things I do? Let me tell you, deep in my mind, when I see it and it works and it fits together like a piece of puzzle, almost like if I'm going to go out, does it work or not? How am I going to know if it works? Thank God for these lips, because if I don't put these lips up against here, I put the coffee in, it drips out. So you see, I tried it, it works. We didn't use any other tools but my lips and the top of this coffee. I put my lips on. I can't talk, otherwise I leave space. So if I talk, okay, my lips move. So the action between talking and drinking, okay, is something to be looked at. Because if it can't be done, there's a reason why somewhere in this universe. Like the letter H. God said, I am who I am. Some people say God's a who. He's an owl. But an I, in God's language, is French. It's high. Am. But is it, he really saying am, or is he saying M? Electronic man talking. He had to be electronic, because God talks face to face. Otherwise, everything we do with God is all electronic. He's an electronic God. Because we're not face to face. When you pick up a telephone, the person at the other end, okay, is actually, you're both joining to a computer system. You both become computers in a way. It's just that your lips, your mouth, okay, instead of drinking from the cup, it's your mouth vibrating inside this element called the telephone to transmit an energy, in which Morris, the cat, or Morris code, or man of code, which is all man, and that's why we have a NIP number, which is the neutralization of the I word, personal. Personal, it's us, it means I is my, and they spell M-Y instead of M-I because it's God's name, and if you put my, right, like in me, the I has a dot at the end. So it makes you more of a piece of the operation than a standing I on its own, because the small I needs all the other letters to make it stand on its own, but the big I can stand on its own. So if you say, I am the God of me, you have to say, I am my God. Because you take the Y, which is the 25th letter, and or after is the 27th letter. 27 and 25 is 52. Man is 1 quarter jack. He's a quarterback because Beta is the quarter queen. And they go out to play together on the field in the NFL. 100 yards long, 50-50, 5 dice in each, 10 by 10, 10-10 world, 10-10 world. They both get to play on the 100-yard field. Each get 100. The total's 200. We have centennial. And then we call the bicentennial, and you look on the field and all we have is 100. Because you have to look at that team's 100 and that team's 100. You don't get just 50-sided field. It's on your side of the field. Your side is on the 50, and the line between the scrimmage, okay, is like between the line of going to war and being in a bunker. And that's what it's all about. They're all relative. Everything is relative. Relatives, relatives, relatives. Red. Who is he? Jack of Diamonds. What is he all about? Well, you can see he's a jack that's holding up those two lines. What do those two lines do? Now these two lines, can I see it? Okay, well let me do, you don't mind waiting because you want to get a coffee or a donut or something, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. It's going to be okay. We're going to work together on this. I just want to save Africa. I just want this to get really big. I'm tired of putting my big energy and not being able to give out to the world because I think it's unfair and it attacks me very much. And although I don't do very much right now to fix it, I'm trying right now. Okay, so now what I got here is you got the jack of beta. Now the difference between my jack and his jack, okay, is he's got a black background and I have a white. So if I make those dots in the corner, I'll make them the opposite of what they are, and then everything will change. The signs here, they're upside down. Those are V's and rainbows, okay? It's a U over a V. Because what happens, I'm going to try and show you this. What was it again? A U over a V?